Good evening. It is time for the business news update. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's take a read at the stories coming up. Lusaka business owner welcomes Kwacha-only transaction regulation and Lake Petroleum fine for labour law breach. These are the stories coming up this evening from the business news update. But what is also coming up is looking at the performance of the Kwacha against the United States dollar. We have the commodity prices for food and non-food items and construction items. All this and so much more coming up shortly. Now, some Lusaka business owners have welcomed the Bank of Zambia's announcement that it will introduce regulations by the end of 2025, requiring all domestic transactions to be settled in Kwacha. Now, Monica Chalwe, a retail clothing trader in Lusaka's North Mid area, says she currently pays rent in US dollars, a situation she says has made it difficult for her business to remain profitable. Ms. Chalwe adds that the decision should be implemented as soon as possible to help small businesses like hers retain more value. Meanwhile, Consumer Unity Trust Society, CUT's Consumer Welfare Officer Victor Skombe, says the measure will strengthen the Kwacha by reinforcing its position as a sole legal tender and enhancing its credibility. And economic analyst Yusuf Dodia says the move signals that the country is experiencing challenges with the availability of foreign currency in the economy. He also notes that the decision does not significantly change the situation, but instead creates what is called a pseudo-Kwacha economy.
The announcement by the Bank of Zambia that it will by the end of 2025 release regulations which will require all domestic transactions in the country to be settled in Kwacha has elated local business owners like Monica Chalwe and Brian Chanda, who say the move will ease the burden of paying rentals in foreign currency and add value to their businesses.
Vifunika vikazilipiriwa mu Kwacha, not mu dollar. For example, my shops yafunika lipiriwa mu Kwacha. My shops ngatalipiwa mu Kwacha. If for example, my business wonse pano 3/4 balipiriwa machani, my shops ma dollars. So my shops ngatalipiwa mu Kwacha and vintu vizankarako chani. Vizankarako is.
It's a big relief for us SMEs because honestly it helps us with budgeting now. We can plan ahead because sometimes you find you pay your rentals at a fixed dollar rate, and then when Kwacha loses value, you end up paying slightly higher than you planned. So it helps us budget, and then it's also saving us some little money on the bank charges. More sometimes, when you're buying USD, there's that extra rate that they add on, so it will save us on that. And then I feel the biggest thing that it will help us with is budgeting. We can plan ahead, and because we are into this cash flow business.
Consumer Unity and Trust Society Consumer Welfare Officer Victor Sikombe has also added that the move will strengthen the Kwacha and ensure that domestic trade reflects local currency value.
We believe that this will encourage confidence in Zambia's own currency, which can support long-term stability, because we have seen that institutions, or rather property owners, who would prefer for consumers to pay in foreign currency in terms of rentals. But what the Bank of Zambia mentioned yesterday, it will give confidence for the consumers, knowing very well that they will be paying rentals or anything or any transaction using the local currency, and that is a plus.
However, economic analyst Yusuf Dodia has raised concerns, suggesting the move reflects challenges with the availability of foreign currency in the economy.
The recent indicators that the Bank of Zambia wants to introduce some regulations on the transactions which are conducted within Zambia to ensure that all transactions are done in local currency and not in foreign currency is an indicator that we have challenges with availability of foreign currency in our economy. So that doesn't really change much. What it does is that it just allows us to have a pseudo-Kwacha economy. I don't think it's a lasting solution to the problem. I think it's an exchange control mechanism, which in my view does not solve the problems. What would solve the problem is for the Bank of Zambia to do what they were mandated to do by the Ministry of Finance, which is to ensure that all export earnings come into Zambia for the exports of copper and other minerals, the exports of sugar, cement, so that our banks are flooded with foreign currency
Bank of Zambia Governor Dr. Denny Kalialia disclosed that the rules will be accompanied by detailed guidelines to ensure clarity and compliance once consultations are concluded. Rachel Mumba for Diamond News.
More from the business news update. Assistant Labour Commissioner Dr. Joseph Kaindama has fined Lake Petroleum Company 40,000 kwacha for failing to comply with labour laws. Now, Dr. Kaindama, who also serves as Southern Province Labour Commissioner, has stressed the need for companies to establish internal policies aligned with national labour laws and submit copies to the Labour Office for guidance. He says the policies must then be communicated to employees to ensure they understand company regulations. Speaking during an impromptu inspection of companies on the Copper Belt, Mr. Kaindama has cautioned against exploiting illiterate workers who may not understand employment contracts. He has emphasized that companies must explain contract terms clear to all employees.
In a country where workers have long complained over companies ignoring labor laws, the Labor Office is taking a firm stance. Lake Petroleum Company has been slapped with a 40,000 kwacha penalty for failure to comply with national labor standards. Assistant Labor Commissioner Dr. Joseph Kaindama says that the company must now establish internal policies that align with the land and ensure every worker understands the rules.
Given the guidance, of course we found there are a lot of irregularities, starting from the status of the contracts and also compliance with the minimum wages, which the company has not been fully complying to. So we've given directives, and we have also penalized the institution with an administrative penalty amounting to 40,000 kwacha.
Dr. Kaindama warns that contracts must be clearly explained, particularly to employees who cannot read or write, to prevent exploitation.
Arising from failure to put in place and make available policies to the employees as demanded or guided by Section 95 of the Employment Code Act.
The Labour Office team later visited Amina's transport company to assess compliance, showing that the crackdown isn't limited to one company.
In front of the law, actually, it's not the right thing for us to do. So let's make headways in that arrangement. Please tell the general manager, if possible, even if it's tomorrow, call the union, they come and decide.
The company says that the message is clear. Companies must respect their workers' rights.
Submitted area were being contested because others were submitted in 2023, others which were submitted in 2024, some drivers left. I did not say that most of the drivers left. Some drivers left. That's what I mean.
So it's on that basis that the lawyer was supposed
to. So on that basis, I asked him to come.
Definitely, we have none of it. We are going to implement this, not because of you are putting penalty. It's the first meeting from, I think this is my 4.5 years in Zambia. This is my first meeting from government entity. Appreciate for that one. We are just asking to, if possible, to waive that one. But I'm sure we are going to work on it with our head.
As inspections continue across the province, the Labour Office is sending a strong message: non-compliance as a cost and workers' rights comes first. Love Mosondash for Diamond News in Ndola.
We now take a look at the performance of the kwacha against the United States dollar. Here are your money markets. We focus on how the kwacha is performing against the United States dollar, now buying at 23 kwacha 18 ngwee and selling at 24 kwacha 15 ngwee. These are average commercial rates for today, the 30th of September 2025. Coming up shortly, we take a look at the construction commodity prices. Now, from your construction commodity prices, if you would like to do some heavy lifting, this particular forklift is something you could purchase today. It going for only 262,172 kwacha and 4 ngwee. And if you'd like to do some drilling into walls and different kinds of platforms, the hand drill that is just about to pop up right here is something that you can be able to purchase. It is only going for 7,038 kwacha. Those are your construction commodity items. After this break, we take a look at the food and non-food items. That's the commodity prices. We'll be right back. Now, from the commodity prices, let's start off with the food items. We begin with a kg of beef going for 110 kwacha. In between 67 to 70 kwacha, you can get 2 kg worth of sugar. A kg of sugar in between 35 to 37 kwacha. 2.5 kg worth of flour going for in between at exactly 89 kwacha. And what is going for in between 175 to 190 kwacha is 5 kg worth of Nakonde rice. A tray of eggs in between 95 to 115 kwacha. You have 2.5 litres there worth of cooking oil in between 164 to 180, as well as 5 litres worth of cooking oil in between 260 to 300 kwacha. You can get yourself a 10 kg bag of breakfast milli meal in between 130 to 150 kwacha. And from there, you can also get a 25 kg bag of breakfast milli meal going for only in between 260 to 310 kwacha. A 10 kg bag of roller milli meal in between 100 to 120, and 225 to 240 kwacha gets you a 25 kg bag of roller milli meal. Let's take a look at the non-food items. We start off with 10 rolls of toilet paper going for 85 kwacha, and that's 175 grams of toothpaste in between 37 to 40 kwacha. You have multi-purpose soap going for in between 35 to 45 kwacha. That's for a bar. And for your washing powder, for 500 grams, you have 40 to 45 kwacha there. And you need exactly in between 115 to 125 kwacha to get you 1.5 kg worth of washing powder. In between 220 to 265 kwacha, you can get yourself 3.5 kg worth of washing powder. A bar of bathing soap in between 19 to 47 kwacha. And finally, 750 mils of liquid hand washing soap going for only 45 kwacha. These are the commodity prices for food and non-food items. That's our business news. We take a break. We have more coming up.